I'm Mark Williams in for Steve Hayes. It's the Friday edition of the Get Up and Go show. 32 degrees outside on our way to a high of 43 today. Partly cloudy, wintry mix for tonight with a low around 33. 40% chance of precipitation. 90% chance of rain tomorrow with a high of 49. So, Bill, you said it earlier, winter is not over yet. So.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
But this news is a service of Roger Hemming Contractor LLC in West Portsmouth. They're one of the most experienced contractors in the area. So if you should ever suffer damage from a water leak, flooding, fire, smoke, or fallen trees, make sure your first call is to Roger Hemming, licensed in Ohio and Kentucky and fully insured. And once again, here's Bill Show.
Thanks, Mark. Good morning, everyone. At yesterday's Sauter County Commissioners meeting, the three commissioners voted to adopt a resolution honoring National Future Farmers of America Week. That runs from February 15th through the 22nd. Now, Commissioner Scotty Powell praised FFA members after seeing so many working diligently, especially at each year's county fair.
We look around, the kids and the youth in those buildings are likely the next leaders of our community because you are taught hard work and dedication and sometimes failure, but you're resilient and we appreciate all you do.
Now, the commissioners also voted in the affirmative regarding an appointment to the Menford Airport Board.
We have a letter of interest to be reappointed to the Greater Portsmouth Regional Airport Board. This board is very critical to our airport out there in Menford. They do a ton of great work getting grants. The most recent was to get all the PAPI, the lighting, upgraded. This is from Angela Kahn. Her current term expires 2/14/25, and she'd like to be reappointed. One, I appreciate Angela and all of her hard work on that board. I'm definitely in favor of this.
Now, it's important to note that several members of the state auditor's office were present at yesterday's commissioners meeting. They attempted to talk with members of the commissioner board after yesterday's session. State Representative Justin Pazzulli recently introduced legislation to provide relief to school districts, particularly in rural areas that have faced increasing college credit plus expenses since the pandemic. Now, Pazzulli's bill proposal aims to align rates for online CCP classes with the second-tier rate for CCP classes taken at high schools. Online CCP courses are currently billed at the highest-tier rate per credit hour. Pazzulli said that the legislation would also encourage textbook cost-sharing between colleges and high schools and allow CCP students to use free open-source materials. The legislation is awaiting a bill number and a committee assignment. And across the river down in Frankfort, Kentucky State Senator Julie Adams introduced legislation that would make sextortion a sex crime in the Commonwealth. Charles Baglin has the latest.
It is calculated, it is cruel, and it thrives on fear and silence.
That's Kentucky Senator Julie Rocky Adams testifying on Senate Bill 73, criminalizing sexual extortion. The bill is being considered in Frankfort by the Senate Judiciary Committee in the 2025 legislative session.
Sextortion is a form of exploitation that occurs when a person obtains sexually explicit images of an individual and threatens to release them unless their demands are met.
Anyone, any age can be victimized. Children, of course, the most vulnerable. Predators use social media, gaming sites, and messaging apps, seemingly harmless at first, then escalating into coaxing someone to share explicit private content. The result leaves many in fear and too ashamed to seek help. The FBI has classified this practice as the fastest growing crime against children. The bill would require schools to offer guidance to recognize and ward against sextortion. Currently, the crime is prosecuted through a patchwork of legal charges. But should the bill become law, sextortion would become a sex crime and a Class A felony if the victim were under 12. Senate Bill 73 passed the Senate committee and advances to the Senate floor for consideration. Reporting at the state capitol in Frankfort, I'm Charles Baglin.
From X99.3 News, I'm Bill Shope.
Well, Bill, I know you're a huge basketball fan and probably like the NBA more than most people around here.
I like it, yeah.
I know you're familiar with the very mercurial Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
Played for the Miami Heat, was just recently traded here at this trade deadline, flurry of trades in the NBA, but he was traded to the Golden State Warriors, and he said he's just glad to be back playing basketball again.
Well, yeah, and he was suspended by the Heat for a little while. I mean, he wasn't showing up to some practices. He was doing anything he could to get traded. And, I mean, that's his right. But, if you do those actions, some things are going to happen.
I'm sure his new 2-year, $121 million deal didn't have anything to do with it.
No. Now, moving out of Miami to Oakland, that might not be such a happy place.
And the Warriors are not what they were.
No, it's going to be interesting to see how he interacts with Draymond Green.
Man, the practices might be that
kind of interesting. Yeah, well,
that'd be,
if you can't play with Steph Curry, you can't play with anybody.
That's right. Yeah. All right, Bill. Hey, we appreciate it. We'll hear from you one more time here at the top of the hour. All right. This news is brought to you by Roger Hemming, LLC.
Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing has all kinds of garage doors in multiple sizes and colors for commercial and residential use. It offers both sales and service. Fencing-wise, there's wood, vinyl, metal, and chain link. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing can custom make gates and is the only company around that can install and service electrical gate openers. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing, 22115 State Route 73 West Portsmouth at Roger Hemming Contractors, LLC. Phone 740-529-0133. Guaranteed lowest prices, financing available, credit cards accepted. See store for details.
Before we get to Chuck Greenslate, let's check in with ONN.
This is ONN. I'm Jay Fox on the Ohio News Network. One person was killed and 2 others were injured in a house fire in Milford, northeast of Cincinnati. ONN's Angela Ann reports.
Police confirmed that a woman died in the 2-alarm fire early Thursday morning. According to the Cincinnati Enquirer, a neighbor reported the blaze just after 1 a.m. and the home was fully engulfed in flames by the time firefighters arrived. 2 people inside that house made it out, and one of them was taken to the hospital in stable condition with smoke inhalation and burns. Multiple fire agencies from Claremont and Hamilton counties were called to help in fighting the fire, which remains under investigation today. Authorities are reportedly looking into whether a space heater was involved.
Months after 1,100 workers at a Toledo Stellantis plant were told they were being let go, they're now learning some good news. The president of the United Auto Workers Local 12 chapter says the threat of layoffs significantly reduced. He says the plant is now in a rebuilding phase with Stellantis, coming out with a new hybrid that could boost sales. It's still not clear, however, when the new production will start. The U.S. House of Representatives has approved bipartisan legislation co-authored by Ohio Republican Representative Bob Latta to permanently make fentanyl a Schedule I drug. That's all in an effort to reduce overdose deaths. For more state news, go to onnradio.com. For the Ohio News Network, I'm Jay Fox.
No Cleveland Cavaliers that time from Jay Fox.
Nor Akron Zips.
But it is time for our local sports, and that is presented by Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing. Located at Roger Hemming Contractors in West Portsmouth, Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing has all kinds of garage doors in multiple sizes and colors for commercial and residential use. Fencing-wise, there's wood, vinyl, metal, and chain link. So let me try again. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing can custom make gates and is the only company around that can install and service electrical gate openers. But the Cavs are playing well and got him a pretty good player in the the trade deadline. He gave up a lot to get him, but DeAndre Hunter, I don't know, maybe he's enough to put him over the top.
Yeah, and it's not like they really need a whole lot because they're 40-10 as it is, I believe. I mean, Darius Garland has been just playing lights out as he typically does. So they've got one of the best records in the NBA. I think actually they have the most wins. Them and the Oklahoma City Thunder are right there kind of neck and neck. But yeah, hopefully that'll prove to be a good move for the Cavaliers.
Well, you got some other stuff to talk about here as well.
Oh, just a few more things. You know, Mark, you know that this weekend is big because other than the Super Bowl, I have to look personally to Thanksgiving, Christmas, and my birthday. Those are about the only 4 times a year that my wife and I put more than 3 or 4 days thought in what we're going to eat that particular day. You know, what dip, what wings, what pizza will you have? It's Super Bowl weekend. Super Bowl 59 will be between the Chiefs and the Eagles. It will take place at the Caesars Superdome this Sunday in New Orleans. Kickoff is set for 6:30 Eastern Time. The game will be televised on Fox. The broadcast team Covering the game for Fox this year will be Kevin Burkhardt on the play-by-play. Tom Brady will provide color commentary. Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi will tend to the sideline reporting, and Mike Pereira will serve as the rules analyst. These two teams do share history at the head coaching position. Chiefs coach Andy Reid spent 14 seasons guiding the Eagles from 1999 through 2012. Current Eagles coach Nick Sirianni, meanwhile, began his NFL career as a Chiefs assistant, working for Kansas City from 2009 through 2012. According to CBS Sports, the Chiefs opened as 2-point favorites per Sportsline consensus odds. As of yesterday afternoon, they were 1.5-point favorites over the Eagles, according to the odds makers. The opening over-under point total for Super Bowl 59 was 49.5 per Sportsline. KC quarterback Patrick Mahomes is the betting favorite to win Super Bowl MVP, which would be his fourth such honor. Eagles running back Saquon Barkley is next in line in odds makers' list of favorites for the game's top individual award. Kansas City will look to make history and become the first NFL team to ever win 3 straight Super Bowls. The Chiefs have won 3 of the last 5. This year's big game is a rematch from 2 years ago when Kansas City defeated Philadelphia 38-35. The halftime performer this year will be Kendrick Lamar. New Orleans native John Batiste will sing the national anthem. The NFL honors ceremony took place last night in the Big Easy. The NFL's comeback player of the year is Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, as he overcame that wrist injury that cut his season short a year ago to post the best single-season stats that he had ever posted in his NFL career. Bills quarterback Josh Allen was named league MVP. Ohio State's run to the national championship has resulted in a new contract for football coach Ryan Day. According to Yahoo Sports, Day has signed a contract extension with OSU that will run through the 2031 season. The new deal adds 3 years to Day's previous contract and raises his salary to $12.5 million per season. According to 24/7 Sports, this new deal will make Coach Day the second highest paid college football coach behind only Georgia's Kirby Smart. Tonight in boys high school basketball, the Total Media Group of Portsmouth will present 3 games live. On Mix 99.3, you'll hear Menford at Leadersburg. On 107.5 The Breeze, you'll be able to tune in as West plays at South Webster. And on Fox Sportsmouth AM 1260 and 95.7 FM, you'll hear Green at New Boston. Tomorrow evening on Mix 99.3, you'll be able to listen as Northwest plays at West. And tomorrow on AM 1260 and 95.7 FM, you'll hear a makeup game from a contest that was snowed out in early January. Wheelersburg will visit Ironton tomorrow. Again, that's on AM 1260 and 95.7 FM. Coverage at all these games this weekend, tonight and tomorrow, will begin at approximately 6:50, depending on the length of the preceding junior varsity games. And don't forget, you can hear all contests online at WNXTradio.com, as well as by using the Local Happenings app, which is a free download from the App Store. High school sports fans, be sure and tune in to the Saturday Morning Sports Line tomorrow beginning at 9 o'clock on AM 1260 and 95.7 FM. Last night in men's college basketball, Bruce Thornton led the Ohio State Buckeyes to a big 73-70 win over 18th-ranked Maryland. Thornton had 31 points to lead the way. The Buckeyes will visit Nebraska Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. That game will air on AM 1260 and 95.7 FM with coverage starting at 1:15. Number 14, Kentucky, will host South Carolina tomorrow at noon. UK is certainly in need of some positive vibes as the Cats have dropped 4 of their last 5. The Shawnee State men's and women's basketball teams will both be in action tomorrow hosting Brescia, Kentucky. The men's game is slated for 1 o'clock. The women's game will get underway around 3. Your Portsmouth Insurance sports time is 8:43. Portsmouth Insurance is a TAH benefits partner. Call the Dews, Gary Duzan, for all of your employee benefit needs. And that is a look at sports.
Appreciate it, Chuck. We'll talk to you again in a few.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Chuck Greenslate with sports presented by... I'm having trouble with this today. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing.
Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing has all kinds of garage doors in multiple sizes and colors for commercial and residential use and offers both sales and service. Fencing-wise, there's wood, vinyl, metal, and chain link. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing can custom make gates and is the only company around that can install and service electrical gate openers. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing, 22115 State Route 73 West Portsmouth at Roger Hemming Contractors, LLC. Phone 740-529-0133. Guaranteed lowest prices, financing available, credit cards accepted. See store for details.
And again, it's traffic one more time, and it is presented by our good friends at the Scioto River. As far as we know, the Superload is on its way. Having left Adams County approximately 8:15 this morning, making its way through Scioto, Pike, and Ross counties today. We are targeting, if there are no problems, it'll be about 9 o'clock. It should arrive here in Scioto County. Also, work going on today, Ohio River Road in Porter Township. While work continuing between Whitcomb Street and State Route 522. That will continue into next week. Finishing up work today, clearing of the right-of-way with traffic maintained with the use of flaggers, Brackenridge Road and Brush Creek Township. They'll be doing that work starting on Monday on Pine Creek Road in Bloom Township. Also starting on Monday, the mowing schedule will consist of Dixon Mill Road in Harrison and Porter Townships. That's traffic brought to you by the Scioto River.
Weather's a service of the Counseling Center's Crisis Center, the region's resource for mental health, substance abuse, and family crises. 24/7 clinical services, medical care, shelter, food, and transport available. The crisis hotline is 740-354-1010. TCC's main line, 740-354-6685.
Your first alert forecast from WSAZ. Gradually getting back to sunshine. Still some local high water spots. Seasonably cool with highs staying in the 40s, dropping to the lower 30s tonight. Rain will be arriving on Saturday, but at the outset early in the morning, we could start off with some icing, so do be careful. Generally a half inch to an inch worth of rain on Saturday, with additional flooding not expected, cooling back down on Sunday.
I'm WSAZ News Channel 3 meteorologist Brandon Butcher on the Ohio Valley's hit music channel, Mix 99.3.
Mix